Memories. They are the essence of who we are and the bonds we've shared with those around us. You remember your dear friend Minfilia, how she sacrificed herself to save the world of the First. Together with Ardbert and his friends, she halted the flood of light from consuming Norvrant. For delivering the realm, she came to be revered as the Oracle of Light, and her power would be carried on. Every few years, a new oracle would be reborn, a new Minfilia. Immune to the Sin Eater's touch, these girls would fight against the beasts of light and meet their end in battle. This cycle continued for 100 years. The current Oracle of Light is a young girl who spent her days being held prisoner in Yulmore. She escaped with the help of Thancred, who has been raising her for the last 5 years. This girl did not want to be a burden. To awaken her full potential, she met with the spirit of Minfilia. Proud of her resolve, Minfilia gifted her with not just her power, but a life all her own. And so, the cycle was broken. No longer was she in Minfilia's shadow. She received a new identity, a new destiny, and a new name. Her name is Ryne. And during your time on the First, she became an ever-important ally. After you defeat Hades, Ryne has a request for you. She needs your help. She senses a strange concentration of light somewhere far to the south, in the empty, the lands that were once swallowed by the flood. She's afraid it might be another Light Warden. With the help of Thancred and Urianger, the three of them have a few theories about what might be going on. You're the only person who can defeat a Light Warden, so they need your help just in case. You agree to help, and the two of you meet up with Thancred and Urianger in Amarang. Even if the light Ryne sensed turned out to be nothing of consequence, the empty is hardly the most welcoming of places. Anything that could survive out there is not to be trifled with, let alone the threat the light-blasted wasteland poses. Using Ryne's abilities to track down the light, you venture forth to find the source of this phenomenon. Though the light has been expunged from Norvrant, the ambient ether of the empty is still corrupted. The flood of light devastated everything in its wake, wiping clean 9/10 of the First. The soil, the air, the water, all rendered incapable of supporting life. It's because of this that the empty has remained uninhabitable for the last century. A few days in the empty shouldn't affect you, but much longer and you risk becoming Sin Eaters. Likewise, it's too dangerous to bring mounts, so instead you travel on the Sky Slipper, a vehicle that was found in the Crystal Tower. You find the source of the light, a massive creature laying dormant in the empty. It has sensed your arrival and has started to wake up. This creature isn't a Light Warden, it is the light, the first Sin Eater, the source of the flood of light. The very foe Minfilia vanquished a century ago. Ryne names the entity Eden, Utopia in Fae. Now that you've found the source of the light, you set up camp. Thancred scouts ahead so you can figure out your next move. He discovers there is naught but barren plains in every direction. He tried approaching Eden, but it didn't seem to notice him. You should act now before it's fully awake. Ryne believes that during the flood of light, instead of destroying everything in its path, Eden was actually stopping the flow of all ether. The ether here is still lying dormant. If Eden was the one who stopped it, perhaps it can be used to get it flowing again. Maybe Eden can bring life back to the empty. Urianger believes that Minfilia halted the flood of light not by destroying Eden, but by silencing it. As Minfilia's successor, perhaps Ryne possesses the means to exert her will over Eden. She is eager to try, for who knows what would happen if Eden was allowed to awaken. She notices that the light is more concentrated at a certain point inside of Eden, a core, like a giant Talos, controlling the flow of ether. Maybe it can be used to restore the etheric balance. By employing Ethernet shards as beacons, you trace the ethereal flow to Eden's core and secure a way to teleport to the heart of the beast. First, Ryne must study the entity's interior and chart a suitable course. Once inside, Urianger can fabricate a means to directly communicate with Eden, and perhaps even control it. You are asked to lead the way in case Eden attacks upon entry. And so you go inside, using link pearls to stay in contact with your comrades. Sure enough, Eden attacks. Summoning forth a smaller replica of itself, it defends its core, but you quickly take it down. The rest of the group travels inside. Ryne reaches out to the core, attempting to make a connection, but Eden resists. It rises from its resting place, hovering over the ground below. With much effort, Ryne believes she has gained control. She is linked to Eden, but she still needs to figure out how to give it commands. Before you know it, you're once again under attack. You are being attacked from above as well as inside. Thancred sets off to take care of the beasts within, while you set out to stop the airborne adversary. Ryne is able to use the ether currents to send you where you need to go, and uses Eden's magics to conjure a platform for you to fight on. You intercept your foe in the sky, the Void Walker, some form of beast holding onto an armored figure. The figure calls out to you, "Servants of the accursed light, this world is not yours to claim." By her hand, the figure opens void gates and calls upon the void scent of the 13th. She is able to conjure up some form of time magics, casting spells that strike you after some delay. Though you are shocked that this figure is able to call upon the rift, you are still able to defeat her. The threat has been stopped, but the girl is not done with you yet. She rises, cursing the light. You and your allies prepare to attack, but Ryne stops you. She wants to know who this girl is, but the girl soon clutches at her head. "Why am I here? What is happening?" she says, before falling to the ground once more. She's still alive, but there's something strange about her ether. Perhaps she attacked to stop Ryne from taking control of Eden. It's unclear who or what she is, but you can tell she possesses a power most terrible. Maybe this girl knows more about Eden. Thancred decides to keep an eye on her until she wakes up and see if he can convince her to cooperate. He takes her back to the camp to keep her out of harm's way. Ryne is fascinated by the power she saw the girl use in your battle, the tearing of the very fabric of reality, the creation of a rift through which void scent may enter, and no light sensed anywhere within the girl or her servants. Something about her reminds Ryne of Emmett Selk. Already, Ryne feels more confident in her control over Eden. She understands now how Eden's power works. It can control the balance of ether over a wide area, forcing it from one alignment to the other. It used its power to change the balance of all the ether in the empty, shifting it so far towards the umbral that it stopped flowing altogether. The power to tip the scales. If Ryne can harness this power, she should be able to breathe life back into the empty. But where to start? You return to camp to discuss a plan with Thancred. Control Eden and realign the ether of the empty. You can't simply unleash the elemental energies haphazardly, however. The empty is also unfathomably vast, and you'd only be able to affect a small region at a time. What you should do instead is revitalize each element in order, one at a time, which might set in motion a more widespread transformation. Ryne is worried that Eden won't be able to draw out a single element without affecting the others. Urianger proposes finding a proper location in which the ambient ether you wish to restore is at its most potent. Even in a dormant state, certain elements will be more prevalent and therefore more easily manipulated. Rebalance the ether, return it to the land, and it shall travel the ethereal currents to the farthest reaches of the empty. But what's to prevent that element from breaking free of Eden's hold and causing a disaster? It must be contained. Urianger has another idea. Using your memory of the primals, you should be able to shape the ether of each respective element into a deiform entity, which can then be dispersed in the traditional fashion. A simple enough task. Summon a primal, defeat it, and realign the elemental ether. These will not be the same primals you faced before, but instead an approximation built off of your own memories. Since the circumstances differ greatly, the results will be difficult to predict. It's decided that the first element you'll tackle will be water, the source of all life. In an area to the west of Norvrant, there was once the world's deepest ocean. It has since been reduced to a yawning chasm by the flood of light. This is the perfect place to draw out water-aspected ether. Ryne pilots Eden to the location, and you prepare your summoning. Memories of Leviathan come flooding back. Your focus split in two, being pushed as waves crash around you. This is not quite the same as the Leviathan you remember, being born of memories instead of faith. Perhaps his appearance was influenced by other water-aspected beings you've encountered. Regardless, you triumph over the serpent. You return to your camp, and the results of your work are immediately apparent. A lake has appeared, as well as a large water-aspected crystal. The first step of your plan is a success. Water has returned to the empty. Before you proceed, Ryne wants to know how the girl is doing. She's still sound asleep, not so much as stirring when Thancred took her helmet off. The girl is surprisingly normal and appears to be around Ryne's age. You leave her to rest as you proceed with the task at hand. You decide that the next element to awaken should be earth. If you can return the soil's life-giving energy, the empty should become capable of supporting the growth of flora. You travel east of Norvrant, which was once home to the great Mount Atlas, and you know exactly which primal to conjure. Memories of Titan come tumbling back, his primordial rage, the fear of falling to your death, the landslides. Like the fight before, this form of Titan is not the same as the one you originally faced, but you are able to defeat him nonetheless. The balance of Earth Ether is once again quickly noticeable, but all of this work has left Ryne exhausted. It wouldn't do to overexert yourself. The empty is still a dangerous place, and further exposure might sap your remaining strength. So you all agree to take a well-earned break. As Ryne leaves, Thancred looks on. She's come such a long way since they first met, and he worries relying on him too much will only hold her back. After all, Thancred and Urianger will not be staying on the First forever. They'll have to return to their homeworld, the Source, eventually. The time will come for him to part ways with Ryne, and for her to follow her own path. You and Ryne return to Amarang, while Thancred and Urianger stay behind momentarily. Ryne is very worried about the girl who attacked you. What if she's being controlled or forced to act against her will? Ryne believes she's not a monster. She wants to talk to her, find out who she is, and see if there's anything that can be done to help her. But nothing can be done until the girl wakes up. Until then, Ryne will concentrate on the here and now. But someone else has noticed something about the girl. There's something strange about her ether. Urianger has a theory about who she really is. The Oracle of Darkness. What that means will remain to be seen. After some time, you receive news from your associates that the girl is awake. Her name is Gaia, and she claims to be a free citizen of Yulmore. She remembers nothing of the events leading up to her attack on Eden. She's lost her memory. You meet Gaia, and she's not in a good mood. Her memories of Yulmore are patchy at best, and the people there barely knew the first thing about her. But she's convinced she'll regain her memory if she accompanies you. Thancred believes Gaia means you no harm, and after much deliberation, he decided to tell her about their work in the empty. Though she can't remember your battle, Gaia feels like she recognizes you. Like she's remembering fragments of a dream, only to realize it actually happened. But she doesn't seem too surprised. She feels that her whole life has been leading to this, because that's what the fairy told her. Gaia tells you that ever since she was a child, it's felt like there's someone else inside her, a fairy. She can't see it, but she can hear its voice inside her head. It whispers to her, lets her use its magic. Holes ripped in thin air, terrifying creatures crawling out, ghastly-looking blades and armor appearing out of nowhere, and worst of all, the dark energy that comes from inside her. Ryne can relate to this feeling, like someone else is inside you. It's similar to how Minfilia was inside of her. Urianger too has noticed these similarities, and tells you all that he believes Gaia may be the Oracle of Darkness, the opposite to Ryne's Oracle of Light. So why did Gaia appear out of nowhere as soon as Eden took flight? It's only a guess, but Gaia thinks the fairy reacted to Eden in some way, and for whatever reason made her go after it. The fairy wanted something from Eden, and knowing what that is will bring Gaia a step closer to discovering what's been living inside her head all these years. She's had enough of waiting. She wants to see Eden now. She goes off on her own, and you quickly follow after her. When you catch up, you find her being ambushed by one of Amarang's beasts. You witness her using the same magics she used against you before, casting a spell of darkness that strikes after some delay. Gaia herself doesn't seem very pleased about being able to do this. "What am I?" she mutters to herself. With the threat averted, Ryne offers to help Gaia and take her to Eden, but Thancred doesn't like this idea. What if she loses control again? What if she puts your mission in jeopardy? Keeping her away would be for her own good. But Ryne still insists on taking her. It wasn't so long ago that she too was living in isolation, being held against her will, and being told it was for her own good. If you shut Gaia away for your own convenience, you'd be no better than those who held Ryne captive. It's Ryne's turn to do for Gaia what you've all done for her. This is the path she's chosen. Thancred and Urianger are pleased with this response. They were testing Ryne's resolve, and it's left no room for doubt. If she's prepared to go through with this and face the danger head on, they'll be right there beside her. With that, the 5 of you return to the empty. It doesn't appear to have changed much since the last time you were there. Gaia stares off towards Eden, lost in her own thoughts. The bringer of the flood, the first sin-eater. Would it lead me to my past or my future? Ryne attempts to comfort Gaia. She understands how she must feel. She was trapped just like her once, but now she's had a chance to see the world and meet all kinds of people. Ryne's learned not to live in another's shadow, but to be herself. Maybe one day, Gaia will have that chance too. But Gaia doesn't like Ryne's words. For someone like her, there was no tomorrow. There was no future. Only the here and now. She's always lived as though each day could be her last, and she doesn't want to waste her time with meaningless conversations. Time. It won't wait. Not for her, not for anyone. And she doesn't know how much longer she can hold on to who she is. She reveals that Gaia isn't her real name. She can't remember her name. It's the fairy who told her it was Gaia. There isn't a single person alive who knows who she is. Everyone she once knew is gone. Even if it's not her real name though, Ryne likes it. If she's happy with it, she'll continue to call her Gaia. After all, Ryne can't remember the name she was born with either. But to her, Ryne is her name, because the people she considers family gave it to her. Gaia's had enough of this conversation. There's something that's bothering her. She thought the fairy would react to Eden in some way, but so far it hasn't. It reacted when Eden moved before, so perhaps if you were to fly it somewhere, the fairy might break its silence. She insists you get back to your job and start restoring the elements again. So, which element should you restore next? Following the initial changes brought about by the release of water and earth, the empty has displayed no further signs of alteration. There's a passivity stemming from the light's ever-pervasive presence. To break the status quo, you need to employ a catalyst, a third element that will rouse and stabilize those unleashed energies into activity. And for this reason, Urianger proposes that the next element should be lightning. The Gandalf Thunderplains will be the perfect location for this, plains that were perpetually blanketed in storm clouds, the only source of light being the ceaseless barrage of lightning. So Ryne pilots Eden there, and you begin your summoning. Memories of Ramuh flash through your mind, the wizard of the forest, collecting his electrical orbs, stray bolts threatening to strike. Though you recall the primal to the best of your ability, memories of other lightning-aspected beasts have clearly influenced the entity you've summoned, but it matters little, and you take the primal down. This time, there are no obvious changes to the empty, but it definitely feels different. The air has grown slightly more humid, as it does before rain. Gaia is not impressed. If this is the extent of Eden's abilities, it's no surprise that the fairy still hasn't shown up. It's clear a more dynamic element is required to bring about natural rain. It needs movement, perhaps wind, but you also need warmth to make the water evaporate. You need fire. One is not much good without the other, so why not draw out both elements together? Summoning two entities would be risky, but you agree this is the best course of action. Gaia walks off, wanting to be alone. This greatly troubles Ryne. She's worried about her. She hardly knows anyone her own age, and she wants to make an effort to be nice to Gaia. But Gaia always pushes back. She wants to find a way to help her. Though you've only known her for a short while, you're all she's got, and she must realize that. If you let her know she's not alone, she'll come around eventually. Ryne tries to talk to Gaia once more, while you watch discreetly. She eagerly invites Gaia to have coffee biscuits with her. Maybe once they've finished here, they could go get some together. This invitation only stuns Gaia, making her angry. Ryne doesn't know her. Until she finds the truth, she'll never be free. And though they may have things in common, they are not friends. Gaia storms off, leaving Ryne behind, disheartened. That didn't go as planned, but the time for rest is over. You must awaken the next two elements. There's a place called Ashfall that will suit the summoning nicely. According to fables, it was here travelers would swelter beneath the blazing heat of the midday sun until nightfall, where slicing winds would tear at their cloaks. This is surely the best place to summon forth wind and fire. Memories of Garuda and Ifrit rage through your mind. Garuda's cackling laugh and wild winds, Ifrit's fury and blazing infernos. You face the fiends together, and while you can hold your own, they have a trick up their sleeve. They combine their elements, fusing together and becoming Raktapaxa, he who soareth on wings of crimson. Combining both of their strengths makes them an even more formidable foe, but you rise up to the challenge and remain victorious. With this act done, rain has come to the empty. Your endeavors are paying off greatly. There's only one element left now. But then what? Gaia says. You'll have achieved the impossible, while she'll still be nothing. No memory, no past, no family, nothing. She yells at Eden, "Give me my life back!" And that's when she hears it. The fairy's voice has returned.
I still hunger.
Gaia screams.
Extinguish the accursed light. Awaken our true power. You are Gaia. Reclaim your memories. Fulfill your destiny.
Gaia can only fight back against this voice, deeply concerning Ryne. You return to the core and prepare to awaken the final element. Gaia asks if restoring this last element will bring the empty back to the way it was before the flood. Urianger is optimistic. It can be reasonably assumed that the empty will continue to transform in the decades to come, regaining a semblance of its former state. You don't expect immediate results, but it will stay like this forever unless something's done about it. Gaia is stunned. You're all fighting for a world you may not live long enough to see, while she's absorbed in her own problems. For so long, she's listened to the voice telling her what to do. She's been scared of what might happen if she disobeyed, but she doesn't want to live like that anymore. She wants to be herself. If Ryne's the Oracle of Light, here to mend this broken world, what does that make her, the Oracle of Darkness? The voice speaks to Gaia again, and Ryne calls out to her. Gaia asks if she's afraid of her losing control and ruining your plans, but no. Ryne is only worried about Gaia. This is too much, and Gaia needs to go outside to clear her head. Something's wrong. You follow after her. You find her at the platform on top of Eden. She talks to the voice, seeking answers, but this isn't right. The voice speaks to her once again, summoning an idol from the darkness that dwells within her. This idol of darkness attracts sin eaters, which get taken under its control. It reaches towards Gaia, intent to claim her, but she resists. You quickly come to her aid. There's no time to fight this now. You must bring Gaia back inside, quickly. She's fallen unconscious, but she hasn't lost control. This isn't good. You need to dispatch this assailant while the others watch over Gaia. You are swarmed by sin eaters, shrouded in both darkness and light. The Idol of Darkness summons gates in your battle, commanding the sin eaters to fly through and attack, but you manage to destroy the idol, watching it fade into naught but dark ether. Despite your victory, Gaia has not awakened. She is trapped in a dream, all alone. Endless silence. Endless darkness. It's no use. No one can hear me. How ironic. All those times I wanted peace and quiet, and now that I finally have it, I wish I had someone to talk to. She's lost in her dream, sinking into the darkness. But a voice calls out to her, pleading for her to wake up. Gaia opens her eyes and sees Ryne. She begs Gaia to wake up and remember all the things they said they'd do. They still need to get coffee biscuits together. Gaia is annoyed and sits up. She never agreed to anything of the sort. Ryne is overwhelmed with relief that Gaia is awake. The fairy fell silent, only to be replaced by Ryne's voice ringing through my head. I never thought I would be so glad to hear it. You don't understand what happened, but the danger has passed, for now. Gaia is okay, and that's all that matters. She apologizes for the trouble she's caused. The fairy spoke to Gaia in a dream, and a stream of memories rushed through her mind. Brief flashes seen through someone else's eyes. Nothing like this has happened to her before, and she's not sure what it means. But she says to forget about it for now. There's plenty of time to think it through once the last element is restored. It's time to awaken the element of ice. Naturally, you'll want to summon the primal of ice, Shiva. This primal is unique from the other ones you've encountered. Your old ally, Isael, had made herself into Shiva's vessel, summoning the primal into her own body. With her echo, she bore witness to the deeds of the noble Shiva of the past, and was moved to dedicate herself to her cause. This devotion is what granted her the power of a primal, and she was able to control it. If this is how Shiva was summoned before, it may be to your advantage to summon her in a similar way. Ryne volunteers, offering to become the vessel for Shiva. Being still and passive by nature, ice is the element that is the most strongly aligned to light. She'll need to get close and use her own abilities, as well as Eden's, to draw it out. Thancred objects to this plan. It's too dangerous, and he doesn't want to see you and Ryne fighting each other, but Ryne insists she must do this. Eden possesses almost infinite power, but what would happen if it began acting without her intervention? It could undo all of your hard work. If she can train Eden how to nurture the environment rather than drain life from it, it could be left to take care of the empty in your place. She'll channel the ether through herself and show Eden how it's done. Ryne's already made up her mind. She'll become Shiva's vessel. Memories of Shiva envelop your mind. Her diamond dust, the frozen weapons she wields, slipping on her ice. These energies are summoned into Ryne, and she takes Shiva's form. But it quickly goes wrong. She's lost control, and it won't be easy to stop her. She is more than just a deity of ice. Her powers as the Oracle of Light influences her, taking a form much like Hydaelyn. This light is too much for her to bear. Gaia won't sit back and watch this unfold. She summons the power of darkness, bringing forth a large hammer. She won't give up. Not on her future, their future. She wants to see what tomorrow will bring. With Gaia's help, the two of you are able to free Ryne. Gaia runs to her as Ryne opens her eyes. Shiva is gone. Ryne looks up to Gaia and smiles. That hammer, it matches your dress, she says. This response stuns Gaia, but she's relieved that Ryne is back to her old self. Ryne finds a shard of ice next to her. It's pretty, and it won't melt. It might make a nice necklace. The two girls finally seem to be getting along. They may have gotten off to a rocky start, but they'll make quite the pair. The restoration of ice has an astounding effect on the empty. Life has sprung. It almost seems too good to be true. All the revitalized elements are working in harmony. You've done it. All you can do now is wait and see. It's once again time to rest. After leaving the empty, Thancred and Urianger ask to meet with you all in the Crystarium. There's something important that needs to be taken care of. Their time on the First is quickly coming to an end. It won't be much longer until they have to return to their homeworld, the Source. With the wheels of change in the empty set in motion, they believe now is a fitting time for them to take their leave. But the empty is in good hands, and they know Ryne and Gaia will see this through to the end, together. And sure enough, before you return to the empty again, Thancred and Urianger bid farewell and return to their world. Sometime later, you decide to see how things are progressing. You meet up with Ryne and Gaia in Mordsuk, and they tell you what they've been up to since your last journey to the empty. They tried the coffee biscuits that Ryne wanted, and they made a necklace from the ice crystal they found. They're looking forward to seeing how the empty has changed since your last visit. Ryne is also putting together a festival with other youths in the Crystarium. They hope a fun event like this will help ease the stress of recent events. She asks Gaia if she'd like to help organize it, but Gaia seems lost in her thoughts. You arrive in the empty, and things are not looking good. The plant life that had started growing is now withering away. The crystal before you is shining bright with light aspected ether. Is there still too much light in the empty? A side effect of Ryne losing control of Shiva, perhaps? It's then that Gaia hears the voice once more.
You have returned to me. Restore the darkness while you still can.
Gaia mutters to herself, these words giving her an idea. Though you've restored balance to the 6 elements, perhaps they're still too strongly aligned with the light. If that's the case, maybe you can set things right by using darkness. It seems they must call upon your services once again. The question now is, what should you summon to revitalize darkness? You've never encountered a primal of darkness before. There is Zodiark, but as you haven't fought him yourself, he may not work. If you can't use a primal, maybe there's something else you could use. A different entity of darkness. Perhaps the cloud of darkness that you encountered during your adventures in the Crystal Tower. It sounds like the perfect candidate. As for the location, Gaia suggests summoning it right here. After all, the Oracle of Darkness and the Warrior of Darkness are both here already. Ryne can use her powers to suppress the light, while Gaia draws out the darkness. The plan is decided. Gaia is nervous. It's not easy coming up with these plans. Ryne suggests that when this is over, you can reward yourselves with treats at the festival. Gaia is confused. What festival? Though Ryne spoke about it on the drive over here, Gaia seems to have forgotten. You can talk about that later. Right now, you've got a job to do. Memories of the cloud of darkness enshroud your mind. The beams of darkness firing around you. The clouds drifting around with a threatening aura. The 2 snake-like appendages writhing from its back. The entity you create with your memories is very similar yet very different from the void scent you faced in the world of darkness. But like all the times before, you overcome the challenge. You return to camp, but nothing seems to have changed. The plants are just as lifeless as they were before. Is the light's influence still too strong? You notice that the crystal has changed once again, displaying the colors of several different elements, a glimmer of hope. The voice calls out to Gaia once more.
For 100 long years I have waited for this moment.
She's figured it out. The fairy has been hiding inside of Eden all this time. At last, the fairy reveals themselves, an Ascian. This is Mitron, a servant of Zodiark and a sundered member of the Convocation of 14. During the Ancients' time, Mitron was a woman working in Academia Eneder, researching aquatic life. This shard of their soul had been reborn into a new body, and thanks to you, they are all but free from their prison of light. Ryne comes to a realization. Eden is an Ascian, transformed into a Sin Eater. It was Mitron's suggestion that gave Gaia the idea to restore darkness, and in doing so, you loosened the bonds of light that were imprisoning them. Soon their soul may journey beyond the flesh to which they are yet bound. They bid Gaia to remember them, remember the times they once shared. In an age past, the world known as the 13th was flooded by darkness. The repercussions were felt in the other shards, none more so than here on the first. It became perilously imbalanced and susceptible to the influence of light. Were light to consume the first as darkness did the 13th, it would likewise become a lifeless void. It was Mitron's duty to safeguard this world from the self-same fate, along with another. After a time, Emmett Silk conceived of a plan to trigger a rejoining. utilizing the very light that Mitron and their companion had labored to keep in check. They were tasked to bring the plan to fruition, but at the last, they were thwarted by Ardbert and his companions. They were defeated, and so too was the light unleashed. But death is not the end for an Ascian. Though their bodies may perish, their souls live on, withdrawing but temporarily into the rift. Mitron would have been reborn, but before their soul could leave their corporeal form, Ardbert struck them with a blade of purest light. That light enveloped their body, twisting it beyond recognition. They became Eden, the first Sin Eater. Their soul felt such agony as they had never known, and then they knew no more. Influenced by Ardbert's fervent desire to banish darkness, Mitron instinctively unleashed the light within them. It spread as an all-consuming wave to every corner of the world. The flood of light. Through Minfilia's intervention, she halted the flood from consuming the world. In the process, she also restored a sliver of Mitron's consciousness. They were trapped within their altered form, left motionless, capable of only feeble whispering, and there they remained for 100 years, calling out for the only soul who could save them, Gaia. All this time, Mitron was calling to Gaia for help, but she's forgotten them, forgotten their duty. Over time, as the light began to subside and the dark of night returned, Mitron's voice grew stronger until they were able to exert their will over Gaia. They wanted her to free their soul from Eden. Through your attempts to restore this barren land, Eden had absorbed more and more ether aligned closer to darkness, gradually eroding the cage of light holding onto Mitron. It's because Eden has absorbed all that rebalanced ether that you've struggled to restore life to the empty. And now, their mind their own once more, Mitron is able to project their image beyond those confines. All this time, you've been freeing an Ascian. Gaia wants answers. Who is Mitron to her? They invite you to Eden's core, where all shall become clear. Ryne has lost control over Eden, most likely because of the Ascian. You need to plan carefully before you proceed. Ryne can't help but wish that Thancred was here to help. Gaia is confused. She doesn't know what Ryne's talking about. She has forgotten Urianger and Thancred. It's then that you realize Gaia is losing even more of her memories, most likely being erased by Mitron. This scares Ryne. What if Gaia forgets about her? What if she forgets about you? But Gaia won't let that happen. For every memory she loses, you'll make 2 more together. She asks Ryne to tell her about Urianger and Thancred. She's nervous, and this will help her settle down before confronting Mitron. You reminisce about the 2 men. Ryne tells Gaia that Thancred is the one who freed her from her Yulmore jail. She thought of him as her knight in shining armor, but he was much more than that. He taught her how to fight, gifting her a pair of twin daggers called Fatebreakers, and before returning to the source, he gave her his gunblade. She may never see him again, but thanks to that gunblade, it still feels like he's here with her. All this talk has motivated Gaia to keep a diary, to keep her memories close. Even if she forgets everything, she'll have something to look back on. With everyone's spirits uplifted, you're ready to face the Ascian. You meet Mitron in the core, and Gaia demands an explanation. But Mitron has something much better than words. They will use Eden to show a glimpse of the past, a glimpse as real as any of the foes you have conjured so far. Mitron shall recreate the battle of 100 years past, which pitted Ardbert and his fellow warriors of light against their nemesis, the Shadowkeeper, their friend, Silva, who betrayed them and set them on their course as heroes of light. With this summoning, Gaia shall remember. Her very soul will revisit that fateful day 100 years ago. But Ryne tells Gaia not to listen. Mitron is trying to manipulate her again. Gaia listens to Ryne. Her days of being controlled by this demon are over. Mitron curses you all. They should be the one at Gaia's side, not you or anyone else. Mitron takes Gaia beyond your influence to keep her safe. Soon they will restore Gaia to her true self, and you will help them by conquering the adversary they present before you. You have no choice. To save Gaia, you must slay the Shadow Keeper and put an end to Metron's wicked schemes. The beastly form of Silva, a battle that took place 100 years ago. You rise up to Metron's summon, and once again, you are victorious. You return to the core after the battle, and you find Gaia standing there. The Warriors of Light, the Shadow Keeper. Gaia has seen this before. Metron appears once more. With the help of Gaia, they had combined their power as one to create the Shadow Keeper. They bore witness to its battle with the Warriors of Light. But how could Gaia have been there 100 years ago? It doesn't make sense. Metron tells her to cast aside those worthless memories so Gaia may embrace who she truly is. For Gaia is the reincarnation of Logriff. She was another Ascian, another sundered member of the Convocation of 14, and Metron's dear partner. Though they have been reborn time and time again, they always find each other. The two of them hold each other very dear, with Metron serving as Logriff's loyal protector. Metron is everything to her, her inspiration. Alone they may struggle, but by joining their power, they may yet succeed. Metron had promised her that they would never be parted again. They will always reach out to her, wherever she may be. Metron and Logriff had fought the Warriors of Light as one, joined in both body and soul. When Ardbert struck his final blow, the light tore through the bonds that held them. Logriff perished, and Metron was condemned to a far worse fate. Now Gaia understands. Metron's been tampering with her memories since she was a child, and now they possess the power to purge them entirely, so that her rebirth will finally be complete. But Gaia will not have it. Metron has no right to deny her a life, to rob her of what she holds most precious. Her memories may seem worthless to Metron, but not to her. Any past she shared with Metron is long gone. She strives for a better future, and she won't let Metron take that away from her. To be reunited at long last only to be shunned. If only Metron had died with her. To be reborn. They will suffer this no more. Gaia belongs to them. Fate tore them apart, and they won't let that happen again. They shall be joined as one, Metron's memories and Gaia's, together for all eternity. Metron reaches out towards Gaia, the darkness rising within her. Ryne begs Gaia not to give in. Gaia looks Ryne directly in the eye. "Who are you?" she asks. Metron takes Gaia. They fuse together, becoming an Ascian prime. "We are one. We remember," they say. The girl you once knew is no more. Logriff is all that remains, her true name, Gaia. And by becoming one in mind and body, Metron's memories are hers. At last she has awoken. The time has come to restore the world to the utopia it once was. Ryne begs them to return Gaia. She doesn't care if she's an Ascian. Gaia is her friend. The two of you will take her back, but the Ascians will not allow it. They draw upon Ryne's memories to perform another summoning. All her hopes and fears turned against you. There is no escaping from the past, and with that, they depart, leaving you to face whatever manner of beast was just summoned. This foe will be unlike any you fought before. You travel to where the summoning was held. Ryne recognizes this place. It's the jail in Yulemoor, and what awaits you there is something neither of you could have expected. A monstrous man appears before you, a dreaded vision resembling Thancred, the Fatebreaker, a beast born of Ryne's memories. Though this entity resembles Thancred, he uses abilities from both him and Ranjit, the man who was holding Ryne captive. "I'm the only one fit to protect her," the summoned man calls. "You are not deterred. You take down this man just like all the others." Before he fades away, he gives these final words. "She deserves all the happiness in the world." With the entity defeated, you return to the core once more and find Ryne with the Ascians. They are furious. That inferior beings such as you should succeed while they failed. It defies all logic. It's then that you hear a voice calling out to you. "Now's your chance! Gaia's still in there. fighting to free herself from Logriff's will. The Ascians have had enough. They bring out Gaia's memories and begin to shatter them. Impurities must be purged, the Ascians say. By erasing you from Gaia's past, they will erase you from her future. There is no place for you in their utopia. You may be mere mortals, your souls fragmented, but your existence is not meaningless. Gaia should understand this. Before she awoke as an Ascian, she lived as one of you. She has her own memories, and surely they mean something. Ryne's words still don't get through to the Ascians. They are immortal, their legacy eternal. If their world cannot be made complete as it once was, they will create a perfect moment that shall last forever. By their hand shall their paradise be made, where there is no beginning and no end. Light and darkness, the elements of nature, all in harmony. A sublime utopia where time has no meaning. They shall become one with Eden, free to live in peace for eternity. Using Eden, the Ascians start absorbing enormous amounts of ether. At this rate, the whole world will be drained. You need to hurry. You must stop them. Ryne disrupts the balance of ether, creating an opening for you. It's up to you to save Gaia. With Ryne's help, you follow the Ascians. You witness them combine with Eden and take on a new form. Eden's promise. But Gaia's still in there, somewhere. Ryne won't give up on their future, no matter what. You confront the Ascians, fighting back as they draw upon your own memories of the primals and use their powers against you. As the fight drags on, they turn their attention elsewhere. Their utopia may only be complete once you've been erased from their memory. They draw out Gaia's treasured memories of Ryne, destroying them one by one. This can't go on. You must stop them now. You give them your all, and you defeat Eden's promise. When you return outside, you find Ryne crouching over Gaia's collapsed body. She's been freed from the Ascians, but she won't wake up. Ryne speaks to her, begging for a sign that Gaia's all right. She finds the necklace of ice the two of them made laying beside Gaia's body. It holds a lot of memories for the both of them. Perhaps this can be used to bring Gaia back. You call out Gaia's name, trying to bring her back to her senses. Gaia is trapped in a dream. She sees Mitron there, fading away. She looks at them, and she smiles. Mitron has been released from Eden, free to be reborn at last. Perhaps one day, fate will bring them together again, in another life. Mitron's already found Gaia once, in spite of everything. Maybe this time, Gaia will be the one to find them. Mitron fears that Gaia will forget them, forget the times they shared. After all, memories are such fragile things. But that's why Gaia's planning to keep a diary. Even after she's gone, her memories will live on. They'll read the tale of the girl bound by duty and of her loyal protector who arrived in her hour of need. Mitron looks at her and smiles. This time, they were the one that was saved. They fade away, allowed to pass on at last. Gaia bids Mitron farewell. Until we meet again, Artemis, she says, Mitron's true name. Gaia quickly forgets who she was speaking to. She's lost in a dream. She needs to find a way out. So she walks. She walks on and on and on, with no end in sight. After some time, she collapses, dropping the necklace of ice. She looks at it. Why is this so familiar to her? She can see a girl, but what was her name? Ryne? The necklace shines bright, and Ryne's voice reaches her. Gaia calls out. She can hear her, but she can't find her way out. Ryne is able to break through to her. She reaches out towards Gaia, and Gaia awakens. They are back in the empty, life flourishing all around them. Gaia has returned, and she remembers Ryne. Try as she might, she could never forget her. Reunited, the two girls are overjoyed. Their ordeal is finally over. With Mitron gone, The ether that Eden had absorbed was returned to the land. Like Metron, the empty can finally be reborn. But it can hardly be called the empty now. It's a utopia, a dream come true. Ryne wishes the others could see this. Perhaps Gaia could pay them a visit and share the good news. Gaia has the powers of an Ascian, after all, and they can travel between worlds. If she can find a way to use her Ascian powers, she might be able to do it. It may prove tricky now, though, with Metron no longer able to help her. The whispering in her head has stopped. She shouldn't have any more bouts of amnesia. Even so, there's a part of her that will miss hearing the fairy's voice. You've all been through a lot, so you return home for some much-needed rest. When you return to Mordsuk, your associate has good news. Their investigators have found information pertaining to Gaia's true identity. The information is being treated as highly confidential, and it includes Gaia's real name. But Gaia says she'd prefer not to know. She has come to learn a lot about her past, even before her life in Yulmore. For 100 years, Metron called out to Gaia, hoping to be reunited with Logriff, but there was no answer. Even so, Metron held on to those precious memories of their life together. They dreamed for things to be as they once were, and in those 100 years of solitude, that dream became an obsession. Gaia, too, would have succumbed to the darkness within if it weren't for you and Ryne. If someone had also been there for Metron, who knows what might have happened? That's why, from now on, Gaia wants to help those in need, to give their dreams a chance to come true. For her, the name Gaia symbolizes hope. She appreciates the efforts to find her past, but from now on, she's looking to the future as Gaia.